Once again, it's time for the Showcase of the Immortals. That's what WWE likes to call their annual WrestleMania event. It's WrestleMania Sunday right now, and now I'm not as big a wrestling fan as I used to be. I still follow what's going on, and I do watch every now and then, but I still love a good wrestling game. Now, is this a good wrestling game? Heck, do you even consider it a wrestling game? Let's check out WWF Wrestlemania Arcade on the Sega Genesis. When this game first hit the arcades, its publisher Midway was on fire. Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam were all huge in the arcades, and it seemed like a natural pairing that the company known for these over-the-top, larger-than-life games would join forces with the top company in professional wrestling, the World Wrestling Federation. The end result was a game which was a total funhouse mirror representation of pro wrestling in the era. At the time, WWF was in their new generation phase, trying to put the steroid scandals and all else behind them. Truth be told, it was a fairly low point for the company, but as far as wrestling games go, is this a low point as well? This time period wasn't just a transition period for the WWF. 1995 was also a transition year for gaming, as the 16-bit consoles were on their way out and the 32 and 64-bit consoles were in their way in. As such, Acclaim published ports of this game to the Super Nintendo, Genesis, PlayStation 1, 32X, Saturn, and the PC. But the Genesis port is the one we're talking about here. Of the two 16-bit versions, I think this is the one you'd want to pick up. While the Super Nintendo version might look a little better and sound a little better, that version omits two characters from an already pretty lean roster. Not just that, but the characters animate a little smoother, and the game just controls and feels so much better than on this one than the Super Nintendo, especially when you have a 6-button controller. You start off choosing which path you want to take, the simpler Intercontinental title path or the World Championship path. The former starts you off in the single matches and moves on to 2-on-1 matches before a final 3-on-1 encounter. The latter has nothing but 2 and 3-on-1 handicap matches, and then a finale called the WrestleMania Challenge, which is a form of a gauntlet match having you do battle with every superstar in the game 3-on-1 style, and the only way to win is to dispatch all 8, which even includes a clone of your character. Many of the special moves and attacks in this game use Mortal Kombat style attack control movements, and while many of the moves here are what you'll find in the squared circle, nearly as many techniques are more similar to what you'd find in the fighting games of the era. The Undertaker doesn't just use the Tombstone Piledriver, he'll hit you over the head with a real tombstone. And Razor Ramon's knife edge chops turn his forearm into a real knife edge. Moves like this also happen to include Doink the Clown's Joy Buzzer, HBK's baseball bat, kind of ironic, and Yokozuna's ceremonial salt bucket. The Genesis version of the game, it does look pretty good, but not as sharp as the other ports, but it is decent for the Genesis. Like with many of the other WWF titles, there are arrangements of the wrestler theme songs, and these are fairly good too. In fact, some of them I actually will prefer over the Super Nintendo versions, just like how I would with the previous WWF titles. This game was definitely a departure from the more simulation style of wrestling games that have come before and since. And was it a welcome one? I don't know. It's neat, it's fun in short doses. If you like fighting games and you like wrestling, is this a marriage of the two that's good? Maybe. Now, if you're not big into wrestling or fighting games, I don't think you're gonna dig this one at all. I like both, so I liked it, but again, mostly short doses, and probably more fun with multiplayer, but that's not something I did all that often. And what do you think? What are your favorite wrestling games of this period? Hope you've enjoyed the review. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.